Hello, ladies and gentlemen, bacteria, adulting, all you like? Welcome to MediEvil Resurrection on the PSP. And I've been dreading it. I've been slightly having it in the back of my mind. Hold up. When I first started this LP, I knew I was going to come back to this issue. Okay, so in the last part, we went over to the docks and got ourselves a boat to get to Dragon Island. And we're going there now to face off against the dragon. As you can see, there's no chalice here, so we kind of need to get the dragon plate armor. Which, I know what I'm going to be doing, actually. You know, in order to extend the video so that way it's not just completely just the boss fight and slightly my rage of it. You'll see what I mean once we get to it. I'm going to go about and get certain things. I'm going to go back to the insane asylum and get the chalice I couldn't get then, and then go back to Dan's crypt to get the special thing that's there. If you notice, there was a lava pool. I'm pretty sure you saw it in the previous episode. So I'm going to go there, get the special thing that's there, and also get the chalice. And then I'll end off the episode. Because either this is going to be either quick or long for me, but it's going to be quick for you guys since I'm just going to cut off to the part when I finish this completely.
Dragon Island. Islands with dragons on were once considered quite the fashionable property investment.
It's a dragon island, but it only has one dragon as far as I can tell. But hey, does this seem familiar to anyone else? Dun 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 dun. Johnny Depp, he is not. I might play like a royalty-free version of the pirate song. He is a pirate song. Maybe the one from Kingdom Hearts, if I can. Unless I talk over it, then never mind. But yeah, I feel as if that was a small reference to Pirates of the Caribbean. And I think the movie came out before this, I think? I'm pretty sure, at least. I know I could be wrong, so don't take it as like 100%. This island is home to the King of the Dragons. Despite their generally freesome reputation, many dragons are in fact sensitive. Erudite creatures who enjoy nothing more than a good book and a chalice of chamomile tea. Beware though, even the most sophisticated serpent can get a little testy if disturbed. Hey, ain't that the truth? Okay, just need to top off a little bit. So originally, this, like, Island of the Dragons...
When we meet dragon, don't be intimidated, okay? Just think of it as fire-breathing armored lizard the size of a house.
Thanks, pal. Okay. Refill on shield. Originally, the original, dragon boss, secret boss, or... Well, not secret, it's kind of mandatory. Was originally in a crystal level where you have to deal with the fire. So they cut that out and kind of kept the crystals here for something specific. The first time I fight this thing...
How can I help you, my musty foot?
If it's my only fight, I'll explain everything, and if this fight takes longer than expected, I'll just cut off to when everything's done. You'll see what I mean as soon as it happens. Okay. Okay, real quick to explain the original's dragon fight, or how it worked. There's two particular instances where you get 2 dragon gems that you need. The first one, I know for a fact you get from the Pumpkin Witch. But in the second one, I forget where you directly get it from. I think it's either somewhere specific, somewhere else. It's somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it's somewhere. I forget where. But, I don't think the Pumpkin Witch actually gives it to you, actually. I don't think so. So, keep that in mind, I guess. Because, trust me, it's something to keep in mind. There were 2 gems to get, and once you get them, you get access to a special boss fight that allows you to get dragon plate armor, which allows you to breathe fire. So that's pretty cool. In the original, as far as I can tell, there's no downside to having the dragon plate armor. At least, you couldn't use any weapons except for breathing fire, which was a short distance, attack, which was pretty cool. But that's about it, really. But anyway, it's kind of a mandatory fight since you do need to, find the gems, and you need the plate armor to get through an impenetrable door that you need to get through. So that's, hot and fiery, so you can't pass through it normally. At least I think you need, I think it's mandatory to have it. So it's not really so much of a secret boss fight and additional thing, as much as it's more mandatory than anything else. Here, it's also mandatory, but at least it's more direct in a mandatory sort of way. It's just the fight itself is bollocks. Look, the original boss fight wasn't all that, complex. Really, it just had the dragon's head pop out in certain corners of the room in a triangular sort of fashion, and you had to hit the ground with your either club or maybe your hammer if you have it, and hit the dragon and make sure the dragon head is under the shadow of whatever rocks fall on it. So it's like it's a little bit of strategic sort of fighting. And you know what, that type of thing I would have been okay with if that was all the boss fight this one was. But no, they decided to expand on it, and I'll show you what it is in a second. So keep that in mind. The original was easier to get, although it was mandatory. This one is also, mandatory and more direct and easier to get to. It's because, it's more mandatory than the other one. Well, it's easier to get to. So there's that positive this game has. And now I'm going to be describing the negatives with this boss fight as soon as we do it. So here we go, ladies and germs. I will say, at least this pool helps you cool off if you do get hit with anything, really. Like if you get drowned in fire and all that. Let's get started.
Oh Lord, what do you want? Please don't tell me you're here on a quest. It's incessant, it really is. What do you want?
I'm what do you call it, jawless, not slow.
Oh, I do so loathe the attentions of the great unwashed. That diction brings tears to one's eyes. Enunciate.
I have no jaw to enunciate. I'm surprised anyone understands me. I'm surprised Al doesn't translate for me.
Dragon plate armor, yes, it's certainly a bold piece. Look at the line, the detail. Très chic.
And it's just hanging on a crystal.
Très now. The breastplate came from my mother, you know. That woman was a saint.
I don't doubt it.
Oh.
You could say please, Daniel.
No. I feel for you, I really do. I mean to say, that outfit you're sporting is so last century.
Quite literally.
But you're asking for a piece of my mother. Do I come round your house demanding a slice of boiled pig's knuckle or whatever vile creature you were spawned from?
Oh, well, fuck you, man. Did you just call your mother a pig?
Sake, how absolutely vulgar. Really? This is
You're the one who
all
called
I
my
need.
mother a pig.
I suppose I'll have to grill you alive like the others, but what does one do with them after one's cooked them? I can't abide tinned food.
Well, how about the fact that I have no, literal flesh to,
Those crystals on the ceiling look loose. A tremor might bring them down.
Okay, so this is basically the beginning fight of this one, at least. Take that, pal. Okay, this beginning part really isn't that difficult. Also, there's a graphical glitch. Sorry about that. Okay, here's where the real fight commences. Okay, let's bring out the magic sword. So after bopping him a few times, and you have to do this by, hitting the ground and causing it to collapse on him, on his head. So after doing that for a bit, you have to make sure that his head doesn't come out of the same hole you just clogged up. Sometimes he'll pop out of the hole that has a clog thing, and it'll unclog, and you have to do this all over again. You got to make sure all the holes are closed up, so that way he comes out. So after doing that, you have to fight him directly as an actual boss. The issue with that is the way he's particularly handled. And you'll see what I mean as soon as we get to it. Okay, so that's basically his whole shtick and gimmick. Dang it. So he basically breathes fire at you. And then he basically does this weird wind attack where he basically pushes you. It can be a very deadly combination if you're not expecting it. But here's the issue with this boss fight that I have. It's the fact that you literally have a difficult time actually beating this guy. Or in terms of actually attacking him. Like, anytime I actually go towards him to attack him, I sometimes find myself literally losing health. I can't literally go near him without getting hurt. Like, see, I get hit. I'm not sure when to attack him is a safe time. Like, do I attack him now? It's like, Jesus, this guy can take out so much of your health if you're not paying attention. Some people will say, well, at least the pool of water puts you out. It sometimes does. But sometimes it doesn't. And also, I do want to mention that sometimes the crystals can break when they take significant amount of damage. But sometimes if you get too close to him / just do this attack too much, you can sometimes get yourself killed, especially when he starts doing the whole, you know, what's it called? The whole fanning thing and hits you. Ugh. I hate when that happens too. It's like, that's also another issue. I will admit, I thought I was going to die in this level, so I was kind of preparing myself just to say, you know what, I'm just going to skip to when I actually beat him. Because that's the kind of issue with this boss fight. It's like, you literally have to brute force your way to actually beat him, instead of actually, like, having a strategy in mind. I know some people can say, well, just do it when he's in between actually breathing fire, and hit him. But I try that, but I still get hit by touching him. I'm not sure when I'm supposed to be as close to him. Because guess what? And you may be thinking to yourselves, why not use ranged weapons? Ranged weapons don't work on him. He literally deflects any ranged attack at him. So it's like, it's kind of pointless to use ranged weapon against him. So it's like kind of like the opposite of the Pumpkin King in a weird way, where the thing can be damaged only by ranged weapons. This guy can only be damaged by literal physical attacks. But the difference is, the Pumpkin King had issues because it had too much health. At least I felt it did. But this guy has issues where he doesn't have a clear enough hitbox for me to touch him and not get hit myself. It's literally brute forcing my way through him. And at certain points when I'm like literally down a health bottle and, you know, get revived, sometimes he can push you into the lava and drain more of your health bottle. I dislike this boss so much. It feels so annoying sometimes. And I understand the developers didn't mean to do that. They wanted an engaging boss fight. But this ain't it, Chief. This really ain't it. Anyway, let's finish this off. I think there was supposed to be a voice clip, but he didn't say it. I don't know why.
Enough! I'm an intellectual. I have no time for this. Here, take my mother and go, you boggly-eyed oik. No
Thanks.
more, please. I'm getting one of my heads.
Well, at least I'm out of that heckhole. Yeah, so you can't really get a chalice there. But I know of a place to get a chalice. But first, let's go to Dan's crypt to get a special little thing.
Dan's crypt. The best place to go if you're looking for a dead Dan.
You don't know how many times I've heard that phrase. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the dragon plate armor. Yes, bow down at its glory. And that it's not really all that impressive, unfortunately. In this game, they decided to nerf the dragon armor a bit. Because it was too OP in the original? Okay, real quick to explain what Dan's doing whenever I press the button. He's supposed to be breathing fire at this point. Literally, that's what the dragon armor does. I think it's, yeah, here it is. Let's see, it says dragon armor. Press, X or square to breathe fire. Fire blast. Hold down for continuous wave. Yeah, well, I'm pressing it. I'm literally pressing the buttons. Yet there's nothing here that happens. For some reason, the dragon armor, at least in my copy of this game, I'm not sure why, it just doesn't breathe fire. Sometimes it does like that, but sometimes when I do want to hold the continuous button, it stops. I'm not sure why it does this. Like, do I need to charge up for a bit? Or is there, like, a thing to it? Or does it just not work? I'm not sure. It just doesn't do it. I could be wrong, and maybe there's a method to this, and I could use it anytime I want. But for some reason, for me, it feels like as if they restricted the dragon armor in this version. At least to me, it feels like that. I don't know. But whatever. It's not a completely 100% great armor in the original game either. It was a short-ranged, fire-breathing ability, which was fun, but, you know, fire-breathing on the enemies was cool and all, but it didn't do enough damage to make it that great of a armor. It was fun, but it just wasn't that amazing. I will say, I really wish they did better, though. It's like, you should be able to at least breathe fire anytime you want. I literally don't see any fire coming off of me. It's like, why is this not working? And maybe it's because of the configuration I did. Maybe that's why. Hold on. I'm going to attempt to see whether or not that's the case. Nope, I changed the configurations back and it still doesn't work. Like, I have no idea whether or not they did this on purpose to restrict the dragon armor so that way it's not too OP, but I honestly don't understand why you do that. It feels like as if that's kind of a dumb restriction, I don't know. Like, I took my time to fight that dumb boss. I should at least be able to use this thing whenever I want. And I'm not even sure how to activate it. Well, whatever. Anyway, this is kind of what I really wanted, because unlike the dragon armor where they nerfed it in this game, they actually improved this thing. This is the chicken drumstick, everyone. This old special weapon was a weird joke weapon at first that was in the original game where you were given to it by the Witch of the Forest. But here, it's actually a lot different to where it actually allows you to do something actually interesting. So basically, what the chicken drumstick does, I think there's a page about it. Here we go. Here it is. I'm actually going to read it. Chicken drumsticks. Press X or square to throw it, whatever weapons you assign. Hold, then release to throw the increase the range, jumping and throwing. It's basically a melee weapon that seems like a joke, but it's actually pretty good. Because if you hit an enemy with this thing, certain enemies at least, they will immediately turn into chicken. Now I'm being serious. Let's actually test it out, because I know of one enemy I can use this on. Hopefully he's affected by this.
It is your mummy done. What? Suddenly I can do no joke.
There we go. If you hit an enemy with your chicken drumstick, it'll immediately turn into chicken, which you can use to replenish your health. Or roast chicken. I kind of like this little secret ability. It was a nice little thing in the original, and in this game, it works every time for most enemies. I'm being serious, it's a one-hit move for most enemies. Though, I guess the trade-off for that is the fact that you can only ever really replenish this chicken drumstick thing in Dan's Crypt.
Dan's Crypt.
I'm being serious, you can't buy chicken drumsticks, unfortunately. So, I guess that's a fair, like, you know, counterbalance for it. It's like, oh, you like the chicken drumstick transforms all enemies into literally chicken? Well, we're restricting it so that way you can only get it in Dan's Crypt in the secret area.
Nice decor.
So at least there's that, I guess. I don't know. It feels like it. So at least this is like something that's a decent prize enough. Because like in the original, the chicken drumsticks worked the same way. It's just that when you use them against enemies, they didn't work the same way for some reason. Yeah, some enemies can turn into it sometimes, but sometimes the thing just didn't work. It's like a random sort of RNG thing where sometimes the chicken drumstick works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a bit confusing slightly, but it makes some sense in context. It's trying to limit itself in the old game. But here, you know, it's a lot different because it doesn't limit itself. So at least there's that.
It is your mummy done. What? Suddenly I can do no jokes.
Yep, you can't. Anyway. So yeah, for now I'm just gonna head off to the asylum and get my chalice that I was supposed to get. But I have to go through the entire gauntlet again, so... You know what, I might fast forward to doing that part, maybe. And I have a perfect song for it. Because, like, I got inspired by one particular person who did this, and you know what? To be perfectly honest, looking back on it, it definitely fit the game, especially the way it was. So I'll actually just, do that, because, oh boy, I have to face off against all the floors, gauntlet levels, and the boss again in order to get the chalice. That's why I kind of groaned at the whole, oh no, I have to do this, because it's kind of annoying to do the whole thing over again. But you'll see what I mean as soon as we get there.
Here be fire-breathing monsters, headless ghouls, and... Oh, actually, no, that's somewhere else. This is the one with the mad people in.
Yeah, I know. And this is where, like, the actual dragon armor would be very useful and cool. But no, they decided to nerf it, so you can't use it. Well, I'll try, but anyway, that's a different story. So, I'll see you when I actually defeat the boss and actually get to the point I want to. So, I'll just slightly fast forward to when we do that.
I think I acquire pretty bad axe phobia.
I think I've got a pretty bad other phobia. But that's subjective and not a part of this conversation.
Anyone? I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes, I know. Hold on. Do I still have the key? No. No, of course not, because why keep the key? Anyway, yeah, that fight wasn't as bad as it before. At least, not when I was talking. But still.
Someone bring me a dinner!
Yes, get it? Because he's fat. Anyway, real quick, let me just get you out of there. Again. Okay, there we go. Recollect the key. So I have 2 of these now. I have 2 forest keys for some reason that I'm never going to use. I already used one, so. Let's see. Okay. Now the real thing, the real shaboom of this whole thing was to do this. There we go. Thank God. Like I said before, it's a little bit arbitrary just to hide this right here. I'm guessing to mix up the dragon's armor since it's kind of got nerfed here. that they decided, hey, let's put the thing, like some chalice behind fire, so that way people need the dragon armor more. You know, to make it more relevant, I guess. But yeah, that whole thing where I sped it up, hopefully you guys didn't see, you know, the whole thing. Hopefully I remember to speed that little part up. But I think it was pretty fun.
Of heroes. Bring the kids. It's like a theme park with a whole cast of lovable, heavily armed friends.
Replaying levels was never really an issue with the game. It's just that seems a little bit arbitrary to hide that particular thing there. At least to me it is. But whatever. Hopefully this gives me a good weapon. Hopefully it's the one I'm thinking of. At least I think so. Yes! Thank God. It's the special weapon I like, because it's very useful. So Ravenhoof, give me the last bow.
Fortescue, you must stop stalking me, or I will call my cousin, who is a police horse.
Really? Well, I'm sorry. Seriously.
Only for fun, of course. He doesn't the money need. He just likes the underclasses to trample. Perhaps I should try slumming it occasionally. But then I talk to you. You are the yin to my aristocratic yang. Do you see?
Thanks for calling me poor.
Enough small talk. A final gift for you. A magic longbow, no less. Of course, and simple person like you should find its raw power very pleasing. Personally, I prefer something in gold.
You mean like the shield? I'll bear that in mind. Okay. But yep, the magic longbow. One of the more stronger weapons in this game. I think it's the strongest weapon in the game. At least in terms of long range, because look at that, look at that. Although, I know for a fact that the strongest melee weapon in this game is the Woden's sword that's at the carnival, but I'm not getting that. So this is the strongest weapon I have so far. You may be wondering what's so special about a magic longbow. Simple. Besides the standard combo system that it has, this thing can nearly one-shot most enemies that are kind of annoying, even shadow demons. The way it does it is that through that. You saw that? The charge attack makes a small single explosive arrow explosion. Now that is the best part of this weapon, because that does a lot of damage to shadow demons and a lot of other creatures with high health. Oh man, this thing is going to do me so many favors. Oh man, I like this thing, honestly. In the original game, I think the magic bow wasn't anything too special, but I'm not sure whether or not it got... I think it did more damage in the original game, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know, maybe it got buffed here and made it more better, I'm not sure. All I do know is that I like it, so I really do like it. So for now, I'll just leave off for now, for that at least. So that's it for this video. Next video, we'll be actually going to the ruins of the castle that's filled with lava. And I'll see you until then. So take care, my bots. See you next time for the next episode of MediEvil Resurrection. I'll see you until then. Sayonara, bots. Take care.